we want. Great Nigeria. Giant of Africa. Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. The Nigeria we want. With Vicky O Show. Wale your light on. Every say what shuku. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. On Vicky O Show. Every Saturday. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. Giant of Africa. Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria.
Hello, good day, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you're joining us from. You are welcome to the Nigeria We Want Now. This is a show about politics, about life, about everything to do with what we want to see in the type of Nigeria that we want. So my panelists, Wale Olaitan, Yemi Shodimo, and Everything Wachuku will be joining me shortly. But before we do, there are a couple of businesses that have been in support of us bringing this show to you live every Saturday. And we need to give them the time to shine. So it is time for us to, show our appreciation to the businesses that are bringing this show to you live. The first one is Provision GSH Plus. What are they all about? They're about our health, your health, my health. How can we be, the most healthiest people around, especially now with COVID, messing things around for everyone, and we got to learn to live with COVID. Provision GSH Plus contains different ingredients. One of them is zinc, and the other one is, so many of those ingredients that we need to keep safe from COVID. That's one thing. Apart from that, it's got so many other benefits to you using it every single day. Just check them out. How is your energy? Do you struggle with having restful sleep? How is your immune system? Do you struggle with stress, concentration, and mental fatigue? GSH Plus is your answer. It's the answer that you need, because the ingredients contained in GSH Plus formula may support your immune system, optimize your strength and energy, and it can empower your daily living. Provision GSH Plus can be ordered through the link we've provided. That is Provision GSH Plus. If you're interested, how about you send an email to vickyoshow at gmail.com. vickyoshow@gmail.com, and we will link you up with the creator or designer or producer of GSH Plus. The other business that we would like to highlight today is Capstone Medical Center, Bensdale. Check them out. Medical Center, Bensdale, we say a big thank you to you for helping us bring our show live to our audience all around the world. If you are watching us right now, wherever you're watching us from, how about you comment in the comment box where you're watching us from? We would like to know. We would like to connect with you. Secondly, we are still in the mood of celebration because it's been a whole year, 12 months of bringing our show live to you every Saturday unfailingly. So last week we did some giveaway of some cash. And we are going to do the same again. We still have some leftover from last week. So we gave out some cash and some hair time. If you're interested, you only need to comment in the comment box where you are watching us from, where you are joining us from, and also like our Facebook page, like us on YouTube, and we will announce the winner as we go. Now, join me to welcome Mr. Wale Olaito to the show this evening. Hi, Wale. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back. And
Always
just one
good.
thing, when you said earlier that it's time for the sponsors to shine. So I really love
Of
that.
course.
So
Of
it's time
course.
for them to shine because
To shine. Yes.
they are supporting us. And to companies and corporate organizations in Nigeria as well that wants to be part of this important program, it is time for you to shine. Bring your money. Come on, we are not too expensive. Come and sponsor us. Yeah. So thank you. So it's good to be back.
It's good, always good. Mr. Elvis Nwachukwu, the angel. What do Egbo calls you? What does Egbo?
It was a saint. It's something around the saint, like heavenly like.
Yeah. Saint Elvis, you are welcome.
Thank you, Vicky. Hi, Wale. Good to be back.
Yeah, not so bad, brother. I'm good.
Yeah.
Always good to be back. I've missed you guys. It felt like it's been 2 weeks and it's only been a week. So it's always good to be back. And so many things that happened in Nigeria within this 1 week that we've been away. Today is the day that we've dedicated to talk about the updates. I mean, I saw so many stuff regarding Brazil. We will get there. But before we do, I think we should just do our usual what is trending. What is trending? So let's start with Elvis. What is trending for you?
Yeah. So the G20, well, it's the G20 meeting that is going on right now. The where the world leaders are meeting and discussing important issues. So what's trending for me there is the absence of the Chinese leadership in that space. They have chosen not to attend that meeting, even though representation was sent. But President Biden was hoping to, according to what I heard on the news, was hoping to catch up with the Chinese, leader to have, a conversation around the issues, around the globe. The leader of Russia as well, Vladimir Putin, was also absent from that meeting. I think that one from Mexico as well didn't turn up for that event, which the world have viewed as an absurd situation. It would have provided these leaders the opportunity to have a good conversation and chart a good course forward for the world. But obviously, for whatever reasons, I know the Chinese leader, one of the reasons they gave was the fact that due to COVID, he's unable to make that trip, and I think it's the same for the Mexican one as well. So yeah, basically on that front, that's what's trending for me. I haven't paid a lot of attention to what's happening in Nigeria in the last week, but yeah, I bumped into that one, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much for that. I read somewhere where Obasanjo was trying to provide solution to the Nigeria insecurity problems. And I remember we talked about this, was the last week. Why is it that they tend to have solution when they are out of office? It's the same thing that we could see here, is trying to, I know what we can do. But yeah,
that is
so
benefit of hindsight.
exactly.
Hindsight is a very big thing.
Totally.
With benefit of hindsight, we can all do many things different, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the case with them. They all tend to have these brilliant concepts and ideas when they're out of government.
Yeah. So how about you, Wale?
I think for me, it's the biggest, trending news is the political news that one of our, major critic of this government, Chief Dele Momodu. So he has decided not just to be a critic, he has decided to really return to active politics. So he went back to his home state of Edo, in South Nigeria. It was met by the chairman of, vice national chairman of the party, and then he officially joined the People's Democratic Party, PDP.
PDP.
Yeah, so he has returned to PDP. I read a statement he issued where he said that, people like him, after years of just complaining and criticizing APC that he was among people that helped Buhari to power. He acknowledged that in his speech. He said it's time to do whatever possibly that they can do to return power to PDP in 2023. So watch that space. I think the speculation is that he intends to run for presidency under PDP in 2023, but that would be a very tough one, considering the likes of Atiku Abubakar and some other Saraki and others that are currently in PDP. So Chief Dele Momodu returning to PDP, as I said, there's a speculation. He hasn't made any official declaration, but I was aware before he made that, even the announcement from one of my major contacts, that he will make that pronouncement. And the bigger picture there is that I don't think he's just joining to become a councillor or wants to become, I think, he will be looking for something really big in 2023, possibly to run for presidency. So that is what is trending for me in the last 24 hours.
So was he APC before?
Yeah, like as we can all remember, in 2015, it was a period of people, a kind of reawakening that a lot of people just, realized that after 16 years of PDP, it was time for us to change. So in terms of party affiliation, I'm not 100% sure whether prior to 2015, whether I was in PDP, but obviously it was also among people that were prominent campaigning for APC and Buhari at the time. And obviously, within a couple of years, he made a U-turn and, started criticizing the government. So, yeah. But definitely he has made a decision that if you really want to make a change, you have to really join the big boys and big girls and play the game. Yeah. So that's what he intends to do.
Okay. Wow. Egbon joined us shortly, just before I dropped off. So hopefully he will join us again. Thank you, Wale, for the update there. Let's just get to today's show. We've got a lot to share and to talk about, which is we all know that Nigeria, there's always more than one incident a day I mean, we're talking about all sorts. So there have been so many things that happened within the last 1 week, politically and all that. So we will be going in depth into all that today. But before we do, Egmont is back. Welcome, Egmont. Thank you for joining us this evening. Oh, it's evening here, this morning for you. How are you, sir?
You can see that I'm obviously in transit.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm just coming in from Ibadan,
Okay.
heading to Lagos. And I just realized that it's time for duty. That's why I'm showing my face. But nice
Thank
to
you for
see
joining
you.
us.
Nice to have you. Nice to have you guys.
So, from your side, Egbon, what is trending?
The irony is that I was just listening to radio and reporting about the Congress going on in Oyo State. That's the APC Congress, and it's probably just a reflection of what is happening in other places. The other big party too. There are issues and factions, and it's not looking very exciting. It's really not it's probably not what we would be wishing for at this point in our history. But that is what we have. So the party congresses that is supposed to lead to something is not really. The signs are not good. The signs are not good. The signs are not. The crave for power and the desperation, left, right, and center, leaves a lot to be desired. Outside that, just as Abacha keeps sending us goodies from the great beyond endlessly, we have at least somebody that is still alive sending us such goodies as well. That's why we are welcoming you to the auctioning of bras and undies and all that. That, of course, is something that is really trending here. I guess for now, Naira is still shaky and tumbling, and the war against banditry, as we like to call it, is still on. We are still fighting it and still hoping that one day we will succeed. Let me stop there for now.
I read somewhere, thanks, Egbo. I read somewhere where Lai Mohammed said paying off bandits, it doesn't equal to them taking over the government.
Well, it's getting the backlashes based on that statement. It is ironically, there is a tinge, there is a bit of fact in that, but I guess it's ill-timed and also coming maybe from the wrong source. The fact in there is that yes, area boys have been extorting for years, and that's from people who legitimately do their own work, people who have their resources through legitimate means and all that. It wouldn't matter to the area boys, but it's like comparing an armed robber with a petty thief. With yes, let me say a petty thief. I'm not sure it's a statement that should come from that level of authority, because we all know what terrorists do. They still insist on calling them bandits for reasons best known to them. They still insist on that. But now for Lai Mohammed to come out and say, to say what he said, well, I guess he's probably enjoying the level of reactions that have come with that.
But my thought when I saw that was, this man kept on making huge mistakes. It's like having diarrhea through the mouth. And that's constantly. I can't imagine if I'm the head of being owner of a business and I have a representative who is always saying wrong things at wrong time. I would have changed that person. I would have done what I have to do because it's not representing me well. That's my thought. No matter what, what promises I made, but if you are damaging my look out there, I would have done something. And this man has been doing that constantly.
The irony, sorry, Doc. The irony there is that the party rode to victory on the wings of a lot of falsehood as pinned then by the same man. That is the fact, and I stand to be corrected. I stand to be controverted on this. The party rode to victory on the wings of that. And so it's like when you get used to so much falsehood, you will, at a point in time, you tell yourself you're saying the truth.
You convince yourself.
But why is still sitting tightly on that seat still baffles me as well. I must say that it baffles me. Somewhere is not about image.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much, Egbo. And thank you for all our viewers watching. Don't forget, we still have leftover from last week. Wherever you're watching from, comment. Put your comments in the comment box where you're watching us.
You will not have a live.
Egbo's connection is bad. All right.
Hello, sorry about that. In some other clients, you won't have such a person on that seat for 1 week.
No.
You won't. But everything goes here.
All right. Thank you so much, Egmont. Let's get into it. We have a few people watching us at the moment, and some have been commenting since today is all about what's been going on in Nigeria. Blessing Kolade actually commented on e-Naira app. The e-Naira app was launched. I'm not sure if it was last weekend or the weekend before. And when they launch things like that in Nigeria, how much festivities goes into it, so much money that they put into it. Now that app has been removed because there have been so many bad reviews. Now I think we need to have talks about that. We'll go into it. So Wale, please take over.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for the introductory kind of what is trending. So today we are having a kind of extended what is trending. We had one 2 weeks ago, and I felt it was really good because we were able to cover so many topics, that are interwoven in so many areas. And I thought we should do the same today. I'll go to Elvis. Elvis has been quiet for some time now. Elvis, I think he's frozen. Are you there, Elvis? Okay, I think Elvis is having some, technology-related issue. I will go back to him once he has been unfrozen. Yeah, I'll comment just on the discussion around,
I think I can hear you now.
You can hear me, okay? Yeah. So I just want to go back to you, acknowledging that you've been a bit quiet for some time now. Aside from the international perspective, which you shared at the beginning of of this discussion, what else is trending for you? Because as you know, today we have an extended what is trending just to cover a lot of other socio-political issues like we did 2 weeks ago. So what is also very important in trending for you at the moment?
Well, like I said, I haven't honestly paid a lot of attention to what's happening in the last week, okay. But I do know for a fact there's been it's becoming a recurring decimal at this stage where the Anambra State election is coming up soon, and there are agitations here and there. Some people clamoring for the election not to, to hold in that state. And which honestly has led to a lot of violence in that area as well. I've come across a lot of gory videos of people being attacked and even exterminated altogether, which, in my opinion, is actually very, very wrong. Honestly, I stand bold to condemn such acts. You don't. I don't think you don't gain anything by indulging in violence. And also having the election is giving people the opportunity to also cast their votes, and wherever their votes lie is probably where their minds lie as well. So advocating for the election not to take place, I'm not sure whether that's the right way to go about things. But it's a very topical issue. It's an issue that has been discussed across board in the eastern side of Nigeria, if not the entire country. So it's something to, it's something worthy of mention, and it's also very concerning to me as an individual. No way. The level of violence or carnage I'm seeing, I've read about, I've seen on the news in that space is calls for concern. So yeah, that's another one that I think is worthy of mention. People advocating for that election not to hold. And it's also funny how I saw, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Senator Ba, he's a prospective, he wants to run in the race as well, went into Alaba International in Lagos to campaign. And of course, we saw what happened there. I
missed that. What happened to him at Alaba?
Oh, he went to Alaba International to launch his campaign, his intention to run as a gubernatorial candidate in Anambra State. And the throng of people, the number of people, there was a mammoth crowd around that area. And guess what? All of them singing praises of Nnamdi Kanu, who's currently incarcerated. I've also seen that happen in Anambra State, where Enyi Nayabaribe, who's been very vocal in relation to what's going on and the agitations in the southeast, he's actually called for the truce and trying to get the government to listen, and he tried to have a conversation with these guys who are agitating. He went into Anambra State to also campaign, and he met the same fate. This is a guy who the agitators are actually very respectful of. He stood shorty for Nnamdi Kanu when he was granted bail initially, and there's a level of trust that the IPOB guys have, you know, when it comes to Senator Baribe. But
Baribe, yeah.
yes, but you know, coming into Anambra State to campaign for his candidates didn't go down well with the agitators or the IPOB guys, who at the end of the day are hell bent on not having the election take place. So yeah, it's a serious one. It's something to look at. The way they are going, I don't know. I'm doubtful that that election will take place. If it does take place, I wonder how, you know, how credible it's going to be with this sort of apathy that I can see in that space, and the level of annoyance. So yeah, that one is trending there. Yeah.
Thank you. And I think I've observed that as well. I've observed, you know, especially, you know, the sit-at-home protest on Mondays. You know, that side of the country, you know, Aba, Onitsha, and the big cities there, they are known for their entrepreneurship. They are known for innovation and technology and things that can be described as the pride of every of Igbo people in terms of resilience and ability to really create something out of nothing. My concern is that with this ongoing sit-at-home almost every week, the IPO people, I get their message in terms of what they are really trying to do, but by the same extension, they not thinking about the social, not even the social, the economic impact of all these stay-at-home protests on an average Igbo trader that needs to go to the store on a daily basis to make money and be able to provide for their families. At the end of the day, these are the people that are at the receiving end of all these protests. And I just think that is one thing that probably they should consider. And I also think as part of strategy, if you're that popular that you could really tell people to stay home, you know, and most people would really obey that. Why not put in an ABGA? Maybe you don't have nothing to do with APC or PDP, whatever, until that time where, you know, you cannot be Afra. At least we can begin to make a change, you know, put the guy there in the ABGA, which is, everybody know ABGA is like a party linked to the great Ojukwu, and then they can start from there and start to make changes. That is just as an outsider. If I may put myself, if I can describe myself in that way, from an outsider's kind of perspective, that is the way I see it. You know, I see it in terms of the impact. If everyone gets the message of what they are trying to really achieve, but see the impact of all these struggles on the lives and livelihood of an everyday, you know, Igbo people just trying to make a living in the hard situation that everyone found themselves in Nigeria. Thanks for that, Elvis.
Sorry, Wale. Sorry, Wale. Permit me to add a bit, also from an outsider's point of view. I'm on the same page with you two, the two of you. That's Elvis and Wale. What we have from reports and what one can see through videos and all that, and through discussions, is a people who are faced between the desire to observe or carry out your civic duties and protection of your safety as well, your life as well. Outside the election, you've just cited it, the sit-at-home thing. And of course, we know what those who have not, at least a bit of what has happened to those who have refused to comply. Now, under this situation, the government is still insisting on having this election. For starters, and I use that with a bit of stress, if the election holds, it will probably be one of the elections that we've had with the least participation of people. I was talking to a friend of mine in the tennis club, whose father resides in Anambra, and the father sent a message to him that he has bought, I'm quoting him now, that he has bought a very strong chain to lock his gates to ensure that nobody comes in, nobody goes out on the day of election. He is that scared, and is probably a representative of a lot of other people. Now, let's assume that even with this present situation, the election still goes on. I am very doubtful about the people's acceptance of the legitimacy of the winner, which will set out another trend of misgivings, of negative reactions, of lack of cooperations, and maybe another trend of violence. It's a very sad thing, just as Elvis said. It is not one thing that at this point in our history that you will wish for. And I am also outside the election issue, outside the politics. One thing that bothers me really has to do with education. A situation where students cannot go to school. The East, in spite of the trading activities and the economic activities, has produced a huge chunk of our academia and at least educated, let me say educated elites. There is a tendency now for a lot of the children who have been forced to stay out of school, getting them back to classes. Quite a number of them might be a difficult task. In the long run, it is going to affect the educational status of that part of the country. It will, because a number of them will probably just opt for trading. What is the essence? That is something that is going to impact on the nation at the end of the day. So there needs to be a rethink. There needs to be a re-strategization. Even when you are showing, is it resilience now, or when you are against certain policies? Listen, the honest truth is that the East has been shortchanged for years and years and years. And here is a people crying out. But the method, well, they may have some good reasons that we do not know for adopting some styles. That's my take.
But my own thought about this is when the leaders are putting this kind of thing out there for the people, it's not other parts of the country that has been impacted. It's still the people in the East. So when I have a leader, I want that leader to put everything that will be out there to help me, to lift me up the more, not to repress me the more. So we're talking about the financial aspect. People that are buying and selling, they are not able to do that on the days that they are sitting at home. Now, according to Blessing, is saying there's 1 month sit at home protest starting from November 5. If there's a protest, sit at home, stay at home, don't go out, don't go and sell, don't go and buy, don't go to school, don't go to work. Who will be mostly impacted? The poor people that have nobody overseas, the poor people who are struggling. And yes, we have this, there's something we're fighting for, but are there better ways to get these messages across without the people, getting seriously impacted financially and in other areas. I mean, that's my thought about it, that maybe there should be a way to look at this. When it comes to it, it will come to a point that the people will not be able to keep managing. So I'm not sure. There's always a reason behind it, but from an outsider looking inward, I'm like, does it just, to me, it just doesn't make much sense.
Let me
Yeah.
please, if you
Can
don't mind.
can I just
If you don't mind.
can I chip in?
Okay, Elvis, go on, Elvis.
Please go ahead, Elvis.
Yeah. So we have as much as I feel saddened by the events that are going on in the southeast. I will usually say I also look at a cause and effect scenario. So yes, as the sit at home does not augur well for the generality of the people in the southeast. It doesn't pan out well for their economic lot, or their financial base. Doesn't help in any way. However, you see, when you push someone to the wall, as unreasonable as this acts may be, and look, I'm going to put a disclaimer here. I don't support this sort of strategy, but what other options are there? You had the Lekki, the protest the other time, and people were shot. People have even been shot for gathering together as IPOB members to even pray. People have been shot, and killed on the spot. You have a situation where we can even dialogue. You see, when you have a child who says, "Oh, look, Daddy, I don't like this," or "I'm not feeling too good," what you do as a father or as a parent is you call that child, you have a conversation with the child. You want to know what the issues are, and then with the view of looking for a solution. Not your solution cannot be 100%, or there's no guarantee that you can actually resolve that issue, but you can at least listen to that child. When you have 2-3 children, one is bickering on one end, and you can listen to that child and you can have a sit down and try to solve this child's problem. And then the other one, you look at the other one and say, "Oh, who the hell are you? I'm not going to sit down with you." It can get to a point where that child begins to explore all other avenues that are available to them. And that's what I see in this scenario. Honestly, nothing surpasses dialogue. Trust me. Having a conversation with the view of trying to resolve issues or wanting to know what is your problem, how can we help you, how can we deal with this, is what I think can solve this issue. But when you wear that toga of look, I've got the strength, I can muscle you, I can do with you as I will, and then you begin to see pockets of this sort of violence that we're seeing all over. It happened in Iraq. America went in there with all their strength. They bamboozled everybody. Once they got out, once they left Iraq and thought the war was won, that's when they started losing people. The war of asymmetry is the worst war that anybody can engage in. And that's what I'm beginning to see, asymmetry in what's going on in the South. Is every day we're reading unknown gunmen. Who knows who the unknown gunmen are? Did we have unknown gunmen 2 years ago? Did we have them 3 years ago? So things are getting worse by the hour, by the minutes, by the second. I still think there's an opportunity for things to be salvaged. But if this attitude of I can talk to people who have reasonable complaint. I heard that from a reliable authority in government. We can talk to people who have reasonable complaint, but we cannot talk to people who have not complaint is useless. I'm telling you now, and I'm gonna be plain honest with you guys here. I'm an Igbo man. I'm not IPOB. I'm not for war. I don't see tribe. I don't see tribe. My wife is a Yoruba woman. But the position of the Igbos in that country that no, you know, the government doesn't want to look at and have a conversation and see what is actually pinching this my people. I tell you what, we may not all say it, we may not come out, but in our hearts, this is how we feel. We may not come out, carry placards, or want to engage in violence like, you know, some other people will want to, but this is the reality of the case. You know, we need to, that conversation needs to be had. As long as it's like postponing an evil day that you know it's going to come. You can't be talking with bandits and offering them monetary compensation, but those who are carrying placards, before they got to this point where they're actually killing people, or I don't know whether they're the ones killing, I'm not going to say that here, but before we got to this level of violence that we're seeing now, it was never like this. But the more you repress the people, the more they try to look for ways, rightly or wrongly, of wanting to make things right. That conversation needs to be had. You can't nip it in the bud. It must be had for people to feel, you know, they're part of this system, for people to feel that, look, here in Victoria, what you and I, is an issue, even within my community. I'm careful about discussing things relating to Nigeria in Melbourne here. I'm telling you now, that's how our people feel. Before you put something out there and say, is Nigeria, I'm careful because I don't want it to come back and bite me in the bum. That is the reality. That's how strongly our people feel about what's going on. Even here in Nigeria, the only thing that maybe some of our people participate in is when it's for passport intervention. That's they want to relate, because they need that passport, they need it to travel. But talk about any other thing, Nigeria here, even here far away, Australia, that's what we find. We can't throw it away. The people are highly embittered. That conversation needs to be had. It needs to be had. Your child cannot be crying and you say, shut up there, and you think that's it. The child is going to look for other ways to make themselves feel okay, rightly or wrongly. I'm not in support of violence. The videos I see are gory to me. Sometimes I've removed myself from some platforms where I see this sort of things. But, you know, there needs to be a way out.
Thank you very much, Elvis. And I just want to leave that topic for now. And Egbon, I will entertain further comments on that topic so that it won't turn to IPO, you know. So I'll move on to other things. So earlier, Dr. Vicky, you made reference to, you know, more like, you know, the issue around federal government, you know, trying to sell, you know, some items, you know, that's, you know, the comical side of, you know, an auction of bras and jewelry and all that. And you know much better in terms of jewelry here than many of us. And I just want to quote, I just put something, you know, they said, you know, one of the bras is estimated to cost $12.5 million. So they describe it as Heavenly Star Bra by Savayas. And it has centerpiece, 90 carats, emerald cut diamond. So that's the description of, you know, of one of the bras that costs 12.5, you know. So what's going on there in terms of acquisition of things like that, you know?
The person that even created that bra should be jailed.
It's a business now, Vicky.
This is just to hold two globes. Honestly, and that woman she's so wicked. How wicked can somebody be? In a country where we have so many people that just need 100,000 to live themselves and their family out of poverty. Some people only need 50,000 to be able to start something. And you, the money that you stole that you don't even know what to do with. One bra. I still can't get my head around it. That woman's brain needs to be they need to actually donate it to scientists to cut and check out what is going on there, because something must be going on there. Normal person would not do that. Normal human being would not do that. And this brings to mind that money that you don't work for, you can blow and do whatever you want with. Do you know how much it takes to work in a day and earn $200 here? You know, Oyibo will make you work. You talk and talk and talk. You do whatever to be able to earn that little. And out of that little, you'll be paying tax going to 38 cents in $1. So how can you now go and be buying something like that you walk into Kmart and buy? I love jewelries, but you know what? I buy it with my sense. I don't hang my sense and go and be spending money on what? Just to look good. How many people will even see the bra? Only one person. How many people will see that bra? Then you now have a 90 carat, whatever on one bra.
Yeah, emerald cut diamond.
I want to chip in something here. When Doc has finished, I need have you. I have a slightly different perspective. Dr. Vicky may know a lot about jewelries. I think I have a fairly good idea about bras. I know a little. I know a little bit about bras.
Okay, bro.
I can tell you this for free.
Okay.
That the bras that we are discussing were not meant to be zipped or unzipped. It would be crazy. It would be a crazy idea if she thought of zipping those bras or allowing them to be unzipped. I think those bras are more like keeping
money.
She got it. They are more like it's almost like artifacts when you can lock up your money somewhere. Unfortunately, it's a joint heritage, or what is this word now that has just escaped me? It's a commonwealth that has been locked up in the bras, or the particular bra we're talking about. Well, Dr. Vicky gave a description, a kind description of the bra about holding two globes. Those are in the glorious moments of such bras, because such bras generally could either hold globes or hold slippers forms and all that. I won't expatiate on that because little ones can be watching. However, why this has become an issue is also baffling, because it's almost now looking like an endless stream of our resources locked up in the coffers of one person. And just as I said, it's similar to the endless stream of goodies sent in by Abacha from the great beyond. In this case, it's almost looking like an endless stream of goodies sent in by someone in diaspora, more like a fugitive. And that is where we have found ourselves. I'm not too sure anybody has really seen the bra that we are talking about, maybe except some officials of EFCC. It will be interesting to see the auction process. it will be interesting to see the auction process. Let's see who's interested in buying either to
Is
keep
it is
or
it
to
like
use.
now a Tokumbo bra? You know, like is it now like a Tokumbo
Very
bra? Because this is not like new. Someone has
Let's call it a high profile Tokumbo bra.
Tokumbo bra. Okay.
First grade.
First grade.
Okay. Okay. On that comical note, let's change topic. What is trending? One of the event trending for me is Cambridge University returning Benin Bronze Cockerel, one of the material artwork looted from Benin Empire about 124 years ago by the British. So based on campaign, so we have many of these artifacts, decorations across museums across the Western world. So after a lot of campaign, they are returning these artifacts back to the original countries. Like, so the Benin prince was among those that received the bronze cockerel just on Wednesday. For me, it's more about challenging the narrative about our people. So if 124 years ago you invaded and you stole something from people that in many of those narratives about people at the time, these are just uncivilized people roaming about naked, and probably they've not really contributed anything to modern kind of civilization. But the irony is, you go to most of the big museums in London, in Paris, everywhere across the globe, most of these museums, they are nothing without these artifacts, stolen artifacts from these so-called uncivilized people. That is just the irony of the thing, for me. And in most cases, even with campaigns to return this, most of the time they go through a very lengthy process to even return these materials, even when it has been found that, look, this originally came from Benin Republic. This, is from Benin Kingdom in Nigeria. This is from Dahomey people somewhere else. A lot of times they put a lot of roadblocks preventing the safe return of this matter. To me, I've got about two views on this. One, those that looted these materials are things that are able to preserve them, and we can see them 124 years or whatever later. There's one part of me that thinks that probably it's a good thing in the first place that they took it away, because I'm not 100% sure whether as a people we will have been able to safeguard these items, and we can now even have a look 124, 130 years later. There's one part of me that thinks that way, but there's also part of me that it's good to see the contribution of our people. In most cases, contributions that are eroded from history in terms of our contribution. So that is one thing that is trending for me, that is finally that Benin Bronze Cockerel has been returned to to Nigeria. Hopefully they keep it somewhere safe, so that it won't be looted again, but this time around by our own people. I don't know, but that's something that is really trending for me in the last couple of days. Any comments around that? Cambridge University returning that material. So we can move on.
Yeah, so that one, Wale, yeah. Okay, Ebon, you fire away.
Thank you so much. I honestly don't know whether we really should be saying thank you or not. I don't know whether we should be saying thank you, because I can't imagine how much has been made over all those years with such artifacts. Now you've stolen my property. Okay, you've stolen my house. You've rented it out for years. And due to pressure, due to lobbying, due to whatever you want to call it, you decide to return that house to me. What has happened to the rents over the years?
Exactly.
I've been deprived of those rents. So I don't think Europe or the Western world should be playing the ostrich in this. That is one. In the course of looting either then or now is not a tea party. You just don't walk into a place and pick such things. I want to believe that lives were lost in the process. These people that did not know what to do, or people who resisted, for instance, your entry into their shrines to carry such artifacts. Because most of those things that we are talking about were not looted from museums. We did not have what you would call proper museum. I mean, over 100 years ago, where would we find such? A number of those things were taken from private homes, were taken from shrines, were taken from worship places, were taken from traditional rulers' palaces and all that. And I want to believe that lives were lost. I want to believe that people were deprived of their livelihood as a result of that. Somebody somewhere that is returning that should be thinking of apologizing to us. It is not a gift.
Apologizing and then compensating.
And thank you, Doc. Apologizing and compensating. Do you know how many people go into museums out there on daily basis? How much they pay? Some of those artifacts have gone through auctions in their journey. They've gone through auctions, passing from one hand to the other until they eventually land in probably the government's designated places. A lot of money has been made. That is my take on this.
Okay.
So yes, that's my take on this.
Thank you, Egbon. Elvis.
Yeah, I'll just add to what Egbon has said. When you pose the question, do you know how many people and how much they pay to go into these museums? I'm a case in point. In 2000, I think it was 2012 or 13, I went to with the whole family, my wife and the kids, to Liverpool a museum, and I saw. Honestly, at the point I just couldn't look anymore. Honestly, I became emotional. I was almost in tears. No, look, I'm not making this up. I was almost in tears. What I saw that was taken away from from our part of the world and brought into this museum, and people are making. I mean, the authorities there are making a kill from people just paying to. There's a whole.
Did you guys pay to go into?
We paid. I paid for my
a lot of money. A lot of money.
Go in free.
A lot of money.
A whole section dedicated to African artifacts. So you want to go to the African side of things? It is there. You walk in, and you will see. I mean, the list is endless. Right down to the chains. The chains they use on our people, when you talk about people losing their lives and all of that, the chains, these ones they put on your legs as well, they were all there. So yeah, you're right in saying yes, we deserve some reparation in that area, or even, and I'm sorry, but the fact that one has been returned, Wale, lends credence to the fact that many more will be returned. It's happened now, and I'm not sure. I don't think this is going to be the last one. A lot more. It's actually a good thing. It's happened. It will be used as a case in point to argue other cases. Hopefully, many more of these artifacts will be returned to wherever they were taken from, the Benin, Igbo land, Benin Republic, or wherever they've been to. Yeah, it's just going to open the floodgates for many more items to be returned. I'm hoping.
I want to quickly say that I've been to that museum Elvis referred to. I went with the family as well, and I know how much this set me back. But outside that, it's not the first time that artifacts will be returned. We've had the Benin Bronze Head at a point and all that. It's been a process. We've had a series of such returned to us, but there are a lot more out there because they came with their greed in capital letters. They came with so much greed at the point that they were looting all these things. They forgot religion. Religion was put on the back burner. And of course, that is not to say that our people were not conniving as well. A few bottles of hot drinks, and people were willing to give out a whole village at a point in time. So our forefathers, wherever they are today, some of them who were part of this should hide their heads. I don't know whether they still have that at that point in time. The grave is far gone. But those who connived with them, when they look back, should feel ashamed and possibly report themselves to Baba God.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have the artifact, at least one of them back. They use it well when it was in their possession. What are we going to do with those artifacts is the key going forward. I've been to different places. I was at New Zealand 2 years ago, actually, for family holiday. And you won't believe what they monetize. Anything monetizable was being monetized to you guys coming from wherever for holidays. Everything, on the shelf, you pay to enter. You're going to wherever, you pay to go. Even for them to show you how they do their dancing, the dancing, the heavy...
The Maoris.
Yeah, exactly. You have to pay to watch them to do the dancing. Our own people need to learn, if care is not taking it, one of our people that will take it and go and resell it to somebody. Are they? So something needs to be done. Yes, we are getting them back, but there should be a plan. There should be a way of, okay, you guys, you've used it more than enough. It's our time. Now these days, there is so much money in anything to do with vintage. And when our young ones, my kids, when they're talking about vintage, they're not talking about 1930s. They're not talking about 1940s. They are talking about 1980s, 1990s. We're talking about clothes. Some of my clothes that I wore when I first arrived here, that one of my kids found, selling jeans that I've worn how many years ago, selling them for like $100 because it's vintage. That's what I'm talking about. There is so much money to be made if our people, if they can use this thing that God has given us, which is the most powerful CPU. It can be monetized. Yes, they are returning them, but we don't want them to just be on somebody's shelf till somebody come from wherever and just take it, pack it, and take it overseas and resell again. Because that's going to happen if there's no plan.
Sorry, Wale. It's a bit of a relief here that even if we are not in a position to sell bras, we can sell jeans. But that's just by the way. I can assure you that here we have museums, both government-owned and private museums. We have very competent, and I mean very competent hands, very competent curators. If you go into our museums, you will see artifacts that date back to hundreds of years. You will find them there in good condition. And while not holding brief for those in authority, I want to say that the level of awareness in terms of keeping our artifacts is a lot higher now. And people visit our museums, they pay to see all this. Whether we have now taken it up to the level that the doc is suggesting is yet to be seen, but I know that their level of awareness about the keeping of such is very high.
And to take it to that level, there also needs to be an enabling environment because everything ties to tourism. You know how you've been to Liverpool Museum. I've been there. Vicky just mentioned she was in New Zealand. I know Wale has been to a couple of places as well. You know, as a tourist, now it's yeah, on the home ground, yeah, it's okay, but a lot more can be made out of this sort of scenario when you open it up to the international community. And how that's going to happen is when you have a place that is secure, that people feel free to want to visit. I know there was a time it used to be Dubai for Christmas. I also know when it came to when it came to Christmas, people want to go to Obudu Cattle Ranch. But that's the one, right? Obudu, where they have all these festivals and all the pomp and pageantry over the Christmas period.
Yes,
and people, like from different parts of the world will connect in that area and enjoy their Christmas. So yeah, there's a lot in that space. A lot more can still be done there. However, it needs to be done in an atmosphere of scenery, an atmosphere of a secured environment where people feel free to travel and go engage in their tourism. Yes.
If you don't mind, I'll just add my voice to what Elvis just said, because it is a platform where we just don't criticize alone. We make suggestions, we prefer solutions and all that. There is a need for those in authority to get more serious about tourism. There is so much to be made from it. There is so much to be gained by the country. We all know it's not all about oil. Let me just zero into museums. It's up to the level that Elvis has just described. Entails putting in a lot of resources and sincerity of purpose. We can take it up to very, very high level, because I know the other things that interested the children when I took them to the Liverpool Museum, for instance. A lot of other things that can be tied to it. We need to move from the level where we are. There are hands here who can do it. I was just having a discussion with a professor today, and we were talking about the National Theatre. That concept was brought in from Bulgaria. It's like a replica of what you have in Bulgaria. And one needs to see what has happened to our own National Theatre now compared to where we copied it from. This will take a whole program to discuss. It's a pity, but I won't take too much of our time. We need to get more serious. We can do it. There are hands there. When that National Theatre when the bid to design the theatre was thrown out, it was, I think, during the Gawan era. One very competent theatre architect, a Nigerian, threw in his bid for it, but it was not accepted. It was thrown out. It was somebody, a minister for information. They didn't call them minister then. They called them
Federal Commissioner.
Federal Commissioner. To be specific, I think it was in Ahoro then. They went to Bulgaria to bring in that thing, to bring in the expertise and all that, to plan so as to put this up here. We know what has happened now.
Yeah.
We need to get more serious. We need to get more serious and pump resources to the right places so that we can move this nation from where we are.
I'm promoted. I've been to Whispering Palms a couple of times. To those that know, Whispering Palms is in the outskirts of Lagos, around the Badagry area. And I've been there even last time I was in Nigeria because my mom retires on that side of the town. That's where she lives. So last time I was in Nigeria, I was at Whispering Palms. I took a few photos. Very beautiful place. And I gathered that the family that actually set up that business, they were overseas in their younger years, like a couple. And then on their return to Nigeria, they came up with that concept and created that holiday destination. A very, very beautiful place. It was my escape for a couple of times that I was in Nigeria. If things were getting too serious in Lagos Island or mainland area, that was my escape. I would run there. My mom lives on that side. And I spent a few times at Whispering Farms. I felt that it was really beautiful. And they had arts gallery and display around that kind of area. I recommend that for anyone just on a visit. And I think it's one of those things that we can, take back and, to the society.
I will also quickly, I will also recommend a trip to La Campagne Tropicana when next year. That is a privately owned place by Wanle Akinboboye. Yes, Wanle Akinboboye. And I'll tell you, about Wanle Akinboboye, you'll be blown away. You will touch nature, as in you can touch nature. You can embrace nature. Don't let me, but I think we have people who can do these things here.
But tell them to come and pay for adverts here.
Adverts.
You have just said it. I'm going to mention it. I'm going to mention it.
Because we would like to know. We would, if we have an idea of places like that. Whenever I go to Nigeria, I've
never been there, but it's been there forever. They've been around for God knows how long. I used to see the adverts on TV.
They've been around for God knows how long. Doc, I'm going to link you up with Wanle Akinboboye. I will link you up.
I think are they not on the Lekki
axis? We can discuss the business side of it. On this platform for this.
On this platform. Okay.
Because it would be good for people coming from diaspora, when they go. I mean, there are times, when you've been doing stuff, meetings, especially when I go for events, I go for meetings, and that 2 weeks can be so intense. Before flying back, I always try to look for a place to, unwind. If I, places like that, even some of the meetings can be done there.
One of the cleanest beaches you will find in this country is at La Campagne Tropicana.
Okay, please.
One of the cleanest.
Please connect us, and
I will. Yeah, I will.
Maybe the crew from the Nigeria we want will find one week to go and spend there.
I'm happy we mentioned it. I'm happy we mentioned it.
And do some promo and
exactly.
Invite our friends.
Yeah.
So on that environmental and nature note, I will, looking at the time, the last thing I've got here that we can just discuss is about climate change. World Bank just declared that by 2050, climate change may display about 9.4 million people in Nigeria. So that's really, really serious. And there's a term for it. They call them climate migrants. That's if, we don't manage our climate very well. So on top of the economic migrants that we have, on top of, humanitarian migrants that we have, that we're going to add a list of climate migrants, people that are going to be internally displaced by climate change. And what I'm thinking is that what are we really doing in that space? There's going to be in Glasgow by next week, there's going to be the Global Climate Change Summit, and they'll be discussing zero emissions by 2050. Elvis said earlier that at the ongoing G20 in Rome. Russia is not there. China is not there. India. The reason why they are not there is because leaders are moving from Rome, where they're having their G20. They're going to Glasgow for this global summit on climate change. And these three countries are among the 4 biggest polluters in the world: Russia, China, and India. So as far as they are concerned, they are not there yet. They are not there in terms of this zero emission, whatever they're talking about. That is why they want to, because, for example, in India, the economy still relies on that fossil fuel and burning of stuff to sustain their economies. They are not thinking about, climate. But I just think that this is a serious one. What are we really doing as a nation to address, climate change? I don't think that if something we can discuss for now. If you've got anything to contribute.
One thing that I know, there is a saying in my language. Okay. Let me ask Mr. Wachuku to interpret.
So hunger cannot get into us, and then you start discussing another thing. Is that it?
Since forever, you can see the thickness of pollution in the air in Nigeria. It's quite thick. It was quite thick then. I can imagine what it is now. Now that the gas is so expensive, people are using coal to cook. So people are using generator for electricity. And you're talking about people are just trying to survive now. So with all that people had to do to be able to live day to day, and most of the things that we had to do rely on things impacting on the climate. Generator for one, what generator releases, how much we rely on it in Nigeria. Almost every other houses at least have one generator or another. We're talking about and they use that for electricity and so many other things. So in Lagos, the only time that I could see the blue sky, fresh air, beautiful, greenery, was when I went to a place called Onye Ekiti, somewhere in Ekiti. There's a university there, Inyu Ekiti. I mean, the air was so fresh. You could see the beautiful blue sky. But besides that, anywhere else you could see the thickness of the pollution. It's quite out there. So when we talk about reducing this, reducing that, so many things we need to take care of first before we.
So you think it's just just an issue that
it's just
on our part of the world, it's not the most important priority in terms of
not a priority. It's not even. It's not on the list at all for our people. So you're going to tell people, take away your generator. What are they going to use? You're going to tell people you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't cook because come on. So
yeah,
it's not
but in order to take away the generators, someone is also responsible for providing electricity that will make people not run on their generators.
Exactly.
I remember, I think it was Bola Ahmed Ashwaju's regime. Ashwaju Bola Ahmed. Edmond, please, you can help me with this one.
IPP,
I know the IPP.
Yeah.
When they finish the IPP, in order that Lagos State will have uninterrupted power supply, what happened? The federal government refused them, or whoever was in charge, to connect to the national grid. All the billions spent on that project went down the drain.
Wasted.
And they didn't achieve the purpose.
Was that not this man?
Fashola completed the project, I think. Am I correct? It started off with it was Tinubu's proposal. I think it was his plan at the start. He finished his tenure, and then Fashola came in. And we can't hear you if you're talking.
It was in phases.
It was in phases, yeah.
Yes, it's you've just referred to another sad moment in our history, where politics blinded people towards taking the right decision. We are paying for it till now. Yeah. It's the same with the Metro Line project. We are paying dearly for it till now.
I remember now, that was during President Obasanjo's regime, because this was an opposition party. And I remember that time was when Lagos State was being stifled of funds from the national purse. Yeah. Their allocations wasn't being given to them for years. And that was also at the point where this project matured. And what happened? They just killed it. So somebody is actually responsible. Somebody, look, on another front, I think the international community are also speaking from two sides of the cheek. I said this because the guys who are in Bonny, in Port Harcourt, in all of those places, Glassfairing, are polluting the environment in those areas. Who owns those companies? Are they Nigerian, wholly owned by Nigerian citizens? A lot of them are foreign companies, and they also know international best practices. Are they adopting the same in Nigeria? You can't be doing something different in Europe or in America, and then you come to Nigeria, you change
Yes, they can, because when they are in a place that you can be described as Ogbaole, it's free for all now. So there's no rule, but if it is here, there's a rule. You can't do it this way, you can't do it this way. Even for our place, even if there's a rule there, there's another way around it. So there should be, if it's not done properly, these guys can do and undo.
No, but there are people
in South Africa, there's Shell, there's all these places, and you see them building schools, you see them building roads, you see them doing great projects for the people of South Africans. What are our people doing? Collecting money.
Now, but who is responsible for overseeing these things? That's the question I'll be asking. Look, I work for a multinational company. I can't. The way I practice here in Australia, if I find myself in Nigeria, that company will not. I don't think they will, allow a situation where I go below our standards. Who is responsible for checking these guys? Why are they not doing the checking? Ogbaole, who's actually accepting them? And because there have been complaints in that area. People have complained their waters have been polluted. People have complained their fishes are dying. They can't drink from their water, and a whole lot of things are going on wrong there because they don't have the wherewithal to fight the powers or those who are in those areas that are in control. I mean, they just give up. They give up. But these guys know the right thing to do. They know by international law or whatever law that sets up their companies, they know they shouldn't be doing that. So our people actually encourage them to indulge in all of these sort of activities. So they're conniving with people. Who are they conniving with?
Let me permit me to hold a short. Okay, maybe I'll use that as my last words.
Yeah. Can we go to this 1.5 hours now? So can we just have our last words? I think we've never had any serious discussion about the environment on this program. We've spoken about a lot of things. Maybe we look for an expert in that area. I'm able to talk about the politics of climate change and how it affects Nigeria and Africa. I think that would be a good topic. So because of time, I'll start with Egmont, with your last word, go back to Elvis and hand over to Dr. Vicky. Egmont, your final word, please.
Yes, I was just going to say that the few words spoken, the last few words spoken, we have a government department that oversees these issues that have just been raised. It's called the Department of Petroleum Resources. And I've had the privilege of seeing from a close distance the activities. I can tell you that there are quite a lot of people in there who are professionals and who approach this professionally as well. And they try as much as possible to police the activities of these companies, these international companies. They try to do that. I've seen a number of their activities. But on the other side also, you find out that even within localities where you see that the environment is definitely being damaged, when the issue of either compensation or the issue that Doc raised about building schools and facilities and all that, you find community leaders who are more interested in what comes into their pockets. That is even at the grassroots level. And they would look away, or they would probably destroy things or obstruct activities if their selfish motives are not. It probably will not matter to them how this affects the generality of the community. You have instances like that. I'm not saying here that that is what happens in all cases, but it happens in quite a number of cases. But to sum it all, just to give government a bit of soft landing here, is Obe's song that comes to mind, which says, ìjọba ń ṣe wọ́n tán lè ṣe, wọ́n ń ṣe o, omi ló pọ̀jọ kà lọ, wọ́n ń ṣe o. Thank you so much. I want to be at that point.
Okay, thank you so much, Egbo. On that note, Elvis, your final word.
My final words, Wale. Well, yeah, we've covered a lot of topics in the last 1.5 hours. I think we'll spend that much time, but overall, I'm just gonna say we need to, as individuals, coming from the initial conversation I brought up to this last discussion, we need to, as individuals, learn to start doing things, putting things in the right perspective. As Mo mentioned, even where you have intentions of wanting to do things correctly, you have a few people, those decision makers or who speak for their communities, will stand in the way and say, look, grease my palm first. That's probably an attitude that needs to also change, and then to change that attitude as well. Look, I don't want to appear like I'm criticizing the government, but what is wrong is wrong. When I don't make pretexts. I call a spade by its name. If I see an area where things are going on correctly, of course, I will applaud it. But where I see things are not being done properly, as an individual, as someone who loves his country and wants to see things done correctly, I think it behoves on me as well to call it out. And sometimes when you criticize constructively, you're not criticizing for the sake of just criticizing. You're criticizing out of your passion, out of wanting to see things done properly. You have seen the world, and so many things are wrong in your area. Either by the way people do things or the way the government does things as well. I would like to see a situation where things change for the better. The government have a role to play. We as a people also have a role to play. I mean, we have rules. Nigeria is not a lawless country. We have rules. It's just someone taking it up their sleeves to say, look, this needs to be in place. This needs to happen, and our people will conform. But at the end of the day, I know we all want to see a better Nigeria. We want a Nigeria that is free of crime. You can't eradicate crime 100%, but to a large extent. Australia is not 100% crime-free. Neither is UK or the US. But where you have a preponderance of crime, then it becomes disturbing. As much as possible, I want to see a safe and a conducive atmosphere in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Elvis. Dr. Vicky.
Well, thank you all very much. And I want to echo what both Egbon and Elvis have been talking about. And where I would like to take that is, yes, we have rules in Nigeria, but we have people who are supposed to help us make sure people are abiding by the rules. But when those people, most of them are not abiding by the rules themselves, they've been found to have broken some rules and there are no repercussions, it's telling us something. So, which is the reason why things are getting out of hand in Nigeria. Here, I just traveled back from the countryside back to Melbourne on my way because it's a long weekend. It's a long weekend. There were so many police on the road, some with their hidden cameras, some with police siren and all that, but there are too many of them. And if they catch you this weekend speeding over the speed limit, you are going to get so many demerit points off your driver's license. You'll be given bills to pay and all that. They put the rules there. The government didn't say, yeah, we trust our people, they are going to abide by the rules. No, they didn't do that. They make sure they enforce the rule. They put some people there to make sure those that are refusing to abide by the rules, they are going to pay a lot of money and they are going to get into trouble if it's much more than the prescribed speed limit. In Nigeria, we need to do more of that. And if anybody's out there is one of the leaders or associating with the leaders, let them know this is what we're clamoring for. The rules are there, but those rules, they're not just there as a signpost. They're there for us to use and to guide us. And we need our leaders to assign people to make sure that these rules are being abided by. And if some of their own people are breaking the rules, they need to do something about it, So I want to appreciate all the, Egbon, Elvis and Wale for coming on again for this fantastic discussion. We have many people watching on Facebook Live and also here. Blessing Kolade, thank you for all your comments. Tolu Felicity, as usual, we appreciate you. Creative Josh, Omobolandi Omoga, Puki Nwachuku, Blessing Opareke, Opareake, sorry if I didn't pronounce that well, and many other people. And I think I saw Dapo Dapsy Odubote at the time. So we appreciate everyone who joined us today. Even Olumide, you remember Olumide? Yeah, he also came. Royal Queen and many others. Olumide Sulaiman. We appreciate you all. Hopefully we'll see you again next week, Saturday, when we bring another great topic. There was one topic that I was thinking I would be able to mention during our chat today, which was about support. I think I'll talk to Wale about this and we'll work something out. So let's just round this up.
Doc, I just want to quickly say that we have the rules. We have people who have been put there to ensure those rules are kept.
Yeah.
But we probably also need to have another set of people to monitor those who are keeping, so that have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, everyone. God bless you all.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
It's LC the beat guy.